Hi BookTube! First things first, I have my little cutie here, Ed. She just got spayed, that's why she's wearing a cone. But she's just standing here watching me, so I thought I'd show you her. But she doesn't want to be on camera. Look, show them your beautiful eyes. Show them your beautiful eyes. She's got one blue eye, one green eye. She's a spitting image of her mama, except she's so tiny. She's like, almost 18 months. Yeah, so that's like as big as she's getting. Okay, so on to the topic. Today I'm here with a totally different angle, just because the lighting in here is really good, and there's really messy. Anyways, let's just get on to what we're here to talk about. I've been feeling this way for a while, that I want to kind of experiment with my TBR. If you don't know already, I don't do TBRs anymore. I used to. But now I've decided to kind of do this wrapped book project. So what I do is I wrapped all my unread books, so I wouldn't have any choice, and I'd ask for random numbers from the internet. Sometimes I'd ask from you guys, and I just pick that book off and just read and unwrap new books as I go along. So I never really had a TBR. With a lot of recent things happening and me doing a lot of self-reflecting, there's one thing I definitely knew that I wanted to do for my TBR, and that's acknowledging that the majority of my shelf is by white authors, and realizing that I wasn't reading enough from Black and Indigenous and other people of colors. I try to go beyond my own experiences, and I love Indian literature. I'm drawn to that. So I do find that I read a lot of Indian and the diaspora there, but I haven't been reading a lot of Black authors, and I haven't been reading a lot of Indigenous authors, despite identifying as a part Mohawk woman here. So yeah, I decided, I bought a lot of books by Black authors and books by Indigenous authors. I have a lot of ebooks by them as well, and so I decided every month I'm going to read one book by a Black author and one book by a Indigenous author. And I recognize that there's other people of color out there, but I didn't want to overwhelm myself, so they are going to be on my shelves. I have lots of books by different Asian authors, by Indian authors, by South American authors, by, you know, different regions, Aborigine, from Australia and New Zealand, and that, Maori authors, but I didn't want to overwhelm myself, so I decided to concentrate on Black and Indigenous authors. So those books aren't going to be wrapped, and a lot of them are on ebook too. I do have books by Black and Indigenous authors wrapped on my shelves. I'm not going to unwrap all my books looking for them. I think I have quite a good selection that are unwrapped right now that I can go to each month. That being said, I'm just going to show you what books I'll be reading by a Black author and an Indigenous author this month. On my ebook reader, right now it's The Man in the High Castle, because that's the one I'm currently reading. Not by Black or Indigenous author, it's just the ebook I'm reading on there. But the next ebook I'll be picking up is Escaping Exodus by Nikki Drayden, and I've heard a lot of her books being recommended, but I saw this one recommended lots of times and it seems really interesting, so that's what I'll be reading on my ebook reader. And the Indigenous author is one that I've wanted to read for a long time. It was on a Canada Reads long list, and I didn't pick it up because it wasn't selected for the short list, but I decided to finally pick it up, and that's Seven Fallen Feathers by Tanya Talega, Racism, Death, and Hard Truths in Northern City. And I'm just going to read this on the back. From 2000 to 2011, 7 Indigenous high school students died in Thunder Bay, Ontario. They're hundreds of kilometers away from their family, forced to leave home because there's no adequate high school in the reserves. And that's just the beginning of it. Yeah, so this is a non-fiction. And then the other experimental part, besides actively choosing 2 books to read, is that I want to unwrap all the books that I want to read in August, I guess we're going into. So I asked Google for 4 random sets of numbers, and I got these 4 books, so I'm going to unwrap them. And so I guess the idea behind this is that I kind of want some element of choice in what I'm reading, so this way I'll have 4 books to choose from. I want to get through my TBR a little faster because I keep buying more books and you know, maybe I'll come across a book that I just know I don't want to read, and that way I can just get it off the shelf and make room for new ones. That's part of it. Another part is I do want more choice. I find that I'm choosing to reread a lot because I want a certain type of book to read. So yeah, let's just open these books. So this one's nice and small. And, okay, so we have Graham Greene, The Quiet American. I read Our Man in Havana, oh god, when I was in university, which is now, I graduated 11 years ago, so that's a long time. But I really enjoyed it. And this was the other option. We had 2 options of Graham Greene novels to read for. It was a film course. It was The Quiet American and Our Man in Havana, and then we had to read the book and watch the movie. And I just realized this is annotated by someone, or doodled in by kids. It's doodled in by kids. That's funny. Oh, there's a self-portrait. Okay, that's cute. I love books that have been written in. So I'm actually looking forward to reading that. Let's unwrap this one. We opened that. Okay. I think I heard about this on BookTube, or it might have been just a random pickup from a thrift store. This is The Undrowned Child by Michelle Lurick, or Lavrick. I can't tell if that's a V or a U. Lavrick. Venice, 1899. Strange and sinister things are afoot in the beautiful floating city. Theodora is quickly subsumed into a secret world in which salty-tongued mermaids run subversive printing presses. Ghosts, good and bad, patrol the streets. Statues speak, rats read, and librarians turn fluidly into cats. This sounds pretty cool. I think it's a YA? Maybe? Nope, she's 11, so this is a middle grade. I prefer middle grade to YA, so that's good for me. And next book, oh, it's American classic here. The Awakening and Other Stories by Kate Chopin. I've never read Kate Chopin. I think I did first hear about The Awakening on BookTube. Oh, look at the print. It's nice and big. And the stories seem really short. So yeah, it's full of short stories. And I think Awakening is a novella. So that's interesting. That's one that I look forward to reading. And lastly is this, I think it might be a hardcover. I'm not quite sure. It is. Oh, okay. I picked this one up at a garage sale, I believe. Tolstoy, Stories and Lessons? Legends. So this is Russian legends and stuff, and they're a little illustrated. This is one of those like old children type books. From, when is this? Oh, look at that picture of Tolstoy. That is awesome. It doesn't have a date. Probably from like the 50s or 60s, I think. So yeah, a series of Russian short stories. It looks like we'll be reading some short stories this month. And just an addendum, I did not finish all my July books in July, so I'll be continuing to read The Rise and Fall of the Dinosaurs by Steve Brusatte. This is one of my favorite books of all time. I only read it last year on audio, so now I got the physical copy and I'm going through and really enjoying it again. So I'll be continuing with that. I have an audiobook I'm continuing. I don't know if you can see my board there. And it's Caliban's War, which is the second book in the Expanse series. That I definitely won't finish this month. And I'm still working on Brothers Karamazov. I had some big goals to finish it within months. My new goal is just to finish it by the end of the year. It's a reread. I'm reading it from 3 different analytical perspectives. So it's kind of intensive. It's not just sitting down and turning pages. It's like making notes and thinking about the connections and would this fit in with this certain aspect that I'm looking at it from. So yeah, that's it for my August TBR and my experiment with unwrapping my books and choosing for the rest of the month. We'll see how that goes, and I can always unwrap more books if I finish these ones. So that's it for my August TBR. Let me know what books you're reading this month, and thank you for watching.